Today we're going to find out if the DRS NV lives up to the hype. Special thanks to al-ammo.com for providing this optic. They can get you anything you want, but they specialize in used, collectible, and heirloom firearms and ammo. The promise of the DRS line is value, performance, and simplicity, but can the DRS really live up to this? For the NV version at $1,000, I don't expect the DRS NV to be just as good as a PVS 14, which starts around $2,000, but I do expect it to have relative value and relative performance for the money. Let's start with durability and construction. I don't feel like torture testing a device that I don't own and I have no plans to keep. So I can't say for sure how durable the DRS will actually be long-term. However, other Holosun products that I've used have held up to a very reasonable amount of abuse over the years. The fit and finish of the DRS NV seem solid. The buttons and initial build quality feel durable and believable. The device comes with protective lens covers, and I also like the rechargeable batteries with a magnetic charging cable that will break away without damaging the device. The Holosun LS321 laser aiming module that I've ran for years has held up to actually quite a bit of abuse. Internally, the circuit board of the LS321 is potted. Key areas are filled with a shockproof resin to make the device stronger. If its build is anything like the LS321, then it should be fairly reliable and rugged. I don't know how the DRS will hold up long term, but it actually seems like it would probably hold up to extended use fairly well. Given all this, and Holosun's reputation of durable products, I'd probably give it a placeholder value of 4 out of 5 stars. This durability rating is based on my first impression in comparison to other Holosun products and not a long-term torture test. Let's talk about size and weight. In pictures, the DRS looks compact and lightweight. People who have seen the device online compare it to an EOTech, but in reality, I have not found that to be the case. In the real world, the DRS weighs 18.1 ounces and towers over an EOTech. In comparison, an EOTech EXPS3 weighs 11.1 ounces. But there's more to consider here. To be actually useful as a low-light device, the DRS NV must also be paired with an IR flashlight that you have to purchase separately. The IR flashlight will add additional weight and bulk to the platform, generally about 6 ounces. This means that the DRS plus a basic illuminator comes in at a hefty 24 ounces. In my previous DRS video, I had multiple people comment that they plan to use the DRS primarily as a day optic and only occasionally use it at night. The problem with this idea is that the added size and weight of the DRS makes it subpar as a day optic, so your average shooting experience will be degraded significantly. Judging by the weight alone, I'd give the device 3 out of 5 stars. It's heavy, it's bulky, but if it performed well in other areas, perhaps I could overlook the weight. Let's talk about shooting on the move, situational awareness, and land navigation. One of the biggest use cases that the public cited for the Holosun was for close-range engagements like CQB or home defense. While I'm no expert, and I've never been there and done that, I have attended classes with the likes of Clint Smith at Thunder Ranch and the late James Yeager, among others. These instructors all emphasize movement and situational awareness in their fighting style. I still remember James yelling at me to move and get off the X while checking my surroundings. The reason that I bring this up is because it's functionally impossible to use a rifle-mounted NV device to move around. Furthermore, the Holosun's viewing screen is about the size of a postage stamp and is almost a foot away from your face when mounted on a rifle. What's moving around at night with the Holosun DRS really like? Okay, take a piece of cardboard and cut out a postage stamp size hole in it. Hold the cardboard away from your face 8 to 12 inches. This is what it's like to use a DRS for moving at night. The nighttime viewing area feels like looking through a tiny postage stamp. But it gets worse. The DRS's field of view is also an extremely narrow 7 degrees. In contrast, the Psyonix Aurora nighttime action camera has a 42-degree field of view, and a standard PVS 14 has a 40-degree field of view. This means that the DRS has almost 6 times less field of view than a budget-priced Psyonix Aurora action camera. This gives any user of the DRS an extreme disadvantage in CQB environments, or movement, or anywhere where situational awareness and the ability to move around effectively is crucial to surviving. When it comes to land navigation, situational awareness, and shooting on the move, I'd have to give the DRS NV 1 out of 5 stars. It's time to talk about low light sensitivity. To really understand the low light sensitivity of the DRS NV, I'm going to be comparing it to various night vision devices that I've ran over the years. Overall, the DRS provides useful illumination on bright nights within city lights or at a 2/3 to 3/4 moon or bigger. But when there isn't much moon out or there's not much city light, the DRS absolutely fails. Performance-wise, I'd put the Holosun DRS at 2 stars, right above your Wish.com tier night vision and below the Psyonix Aurora low-light action camera. In these basic situations of self-defense or home defense, when the power's on and the street lights are on, you might just be better off with a decent white light, a red dot, and maybe a suppressor and no night vision. In more advanced scenarios where the power is out and there are no street lights, that's where night vision would really come into play. When I evaluate a low light device for a civilian purchase, you would want as much sensitivity as possible so you can minimize your downrange signature. I mention this because your cheap, low-quality night vision, and most of your digital night vision, is going to be less sensitive, so it heavily relies on active IR illumination to see in the dark. If you're using the DRS in a truly dark environment, you would need a bright IR spotlight that highlights you to everyone else with a device. I put the DRS low-light sensitivity above the Wish.com tier NV devices, but below the Psyonix Aurora. Right now, you can get a Psyonix Aurora on eBay, maybe an open box or something like that, for around $400. So if I were truly on a bare bones budget for a low light device, the Aurora would have a better performance for the dollar. I'm rating low light sensitivity for the DRS at 2 out of 5 stars. It's time to talk about area surveillance, static overwatch, or security detail. Another common use case that people have made comments about is for static observation, overwatch, and a security detail. For this use case, I would hard pass on the DRS. Let's not forget, the DRS has a 7-degree field of view. A Psyonix Aurora has a 42-degree field of view. That's 6 times less field of view. Cramming digital night vision into a reflex sight has led to Holosun making some very big compromises that puts the DRS at a huge disadvantage. So if you absolutely insist on a cheap digital night vision device for low light observation, don't forget that a Psyonix Aurora has a much wider field of view and is also a lot cheaper. For surveillance, overwatch, and security detail, I'm going to have to rate the DRS NV at 2 out of 5 stars. Does it live up to the hype? No, it does not live up to the hype. Even though the DRS is half the price of a PVS-14, it does not offer half the performance. I would say that the DRS NV offers about 10% of the performance capability of an entry-level PVS-14. If the DRS was $500 or less, you might be able to convince me that for the money, it offers a significant advantage, but at $1,000 or anywhere near $1,000, I really don't see it. The best use case for the Holosun DRS NV is honestly impressing your friends at parties. If you absolutely must have a cheap digital low-light device, get a used Psyonix Aurora off of eBay, but for real, just keep saving your money and get a basic PVS-14. In closing, the horses are prepared for battle, but the battle belongs to the Lord. Thank you.